Hey everybody, this is Galen from the Portland Chess Shop, and I'm here with FIDE Master Evan Jew.
Hey guys, great to be here once again. Today we're looking at some Nakamura games, so I'm really excited.
Let's do it. All right, we just started. So we started this game has already started, but it's sick, and so that's why we're doing it. What can I say?
Okay, this position, in a way, Nakamura is white. I would say white has a pretty big advantage here, just because he has like really strong control of their e5 square, and e6 is pretty weak. And also the white's bishops are better than black's. I'm not sure exactly what Nakamura is thinking here. Maybe he's thinking like a g4 or knight e5 or some kind of sacrifice coming up, but it's Nakamura, so anything can happen. He's a machine.
So Nakamura is known to be one of the strongest blitz and bullet players in the world, right?
Yeah, I would say he's the strongest. He's, widely considered the strongest bullet player in the world. And blitz, he's up there with Magnus Carlsen and, the top players. He's definitely a top 5 blitz player. He's absolutely insane, especially in bullet, though. That's his forte.
So here comes g4, kicking the knight, sort of weakening the kingside position, but having some sort of tactic in mind, I think.
Yeah, like maybe a g5 or bishop takes h7 at some point, or g5, yeah. Maybe here, bishop takes h7 and knight e5.
Boom! Bishop takes h7.
And knows everything is coming with an attack. He has to take and then knight e5, hitting the queen again, then queen h5 and rook e3, and just huge attack coming.
Yeah, and knight e5 is going to cover the f7 and g6 squares.
Yeah. Oh man, this guy did not know it hit him. Yeah, I don't even know what he's thinking about. He can't ignore it. If he goes king f7, it's a death sentence. If he goes king h8, knight e5 anyway. Boom, knight e5.
That's so. Yeah. So now the queen has to go somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, it does not matter where the queen goes. Queen b5, queen h5. It doesn't matter. g6 is coming. I think it's almost over. Yeah, I would say it's pretty much over. Queen h5 check or g6 check. Yeah, queen h5.
So now g6 is going to seal the deal.
G6 seals the deal. Black has to go rook takes h4, but then queen h8 check. Queen h7, queen h7, king f8. Queen h8, king e7, queen takes g7 is going to be curtains, I think. Pretty simple 3-move combination there.
Check, king runs, check.
And now black has to interpose with the piece once black takes the pawn. Pawn takes and knight g6 is coming. Amazing sacrifice by Nakamura. It's pretty routine, but it was really cool.
Yeah, he saw it so quickly.
Yeah, he saw it instantly. Poor Ray Allen.
So Ray Allen resigns and Nakamura backs up to show us some of his thinking.
Mm-hmm. What was Nakamura? Yeah, knight d6, obviously. It was kind of forced. What do you have to do here? Bishop d8. Do you think this is critical? Oh.
So queen e7, because then after g6, then queen h4 is going to defend against the mate.
Uh-huh, I see. But then knight g6, rook c1. So now they calculated all this out. Now the black queen has a lot of trouble finding squares.
Right. Check. The king comes to the center.
Mm-hmm.
The knight has to retreat, and now you want to use all the pieces in the attack, and he brings
e4. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think knight takes f7 probably is okay, but he's sacking the queen to checkmate. That's really beautiful. Bishop takes f6.
Yeah, bishop takes f6, and then just bishop a3 checkmate. Yeah, it's crazy to see something like that in such a fast game.
Yeah, that's what he's calculating. a lot of people in bullet or in blitz, they respond. They they don't think so much on their opponent's turn. They like to respond by instinct. But Nakamura used all of his time efficiently and calculates these variations. And now he's just showing all the pieces for black were just useless.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like how he used all the pieces in the attack in that last variation.
This guy's a little stronger, and I am, but is this 5? Yeah, this is 3 minute. By the way, 25.77 3-minute is insane. The average players, average GMs are around 2,200 in Blitz in the 3-minute pool. So just to put in perspective there. He's 300 points above the curve on the best grandmasters in 3 minute.
So he has to win something like a 10-to-1 ratio.
Something like that. Maybe at least 5-to-1.
So he often uses these openings that aren't really well known when he plays in speed chess, right? He plays sort of, he plays 1b3, 1g3. He plays almost kind of timid, but then he ends up, checkmating you with an attack like we saw in the last game.
Yeah, the main idea is for him just to get out of theory. He doesn't want to lose or get a bad position from his opponent just memorizing some lines against him. He wants to, but he plays these lines to assure himself he's going to get a decent, solid position where the guy can't rely on theory and it's pure skill, that kind of thing. So here, this is not theory at all whatsoever. So now Black White has to think of himself, and that's how Nakamura really optimizes his time, or his quick ability to calculate in these positions here.
Right, because it's a new position, and so his opponent both players need to calculate all the intricacies.
Yeah, and that's exactly where Nakamura shines. That's his strongest point, his tactical speed and calculating ability. So,
but it's funny to me that he wins with tactics, but he plays openings that don't seem tactical.
Yeah. He just plays. He doesn't play. His openings aren't geared towards certain positions, but he's just getting a solid position. Then eventually he opens it up. Eventually he outcalculates, but he starts out relatively slowly. But in this position, Black's already much better because of the weak e5 square, and the knights are much better than his opponent's minor pieces. So Nakamura just outplayed his opponent brilliantly here already.
Yeah, his rooks are centralized. His opponent's pieces are uncentralized.
At some point, a knight's going to go to f4. Maybe the queen will come back to c7. I don't know, but those dark squares are very weak for white.
Yeah, white seems to have overextended.
Knight f4 is devastating. The h file will be a big deal later on. Yeah, basically black pieces are just so much better coordinated. The white bishop is absolutely doing nothing.
Yeah, it's missing, the light squares just aren't critical right now, right? The dark squares are?
Dark squares are critical, yeah, and that's why Nakamura doesn't mind exchanging into an endgame.
Right. So Magnus Carlsen sort of plays a little bit in the same way, where he plays he doesn't always play the sharpest openings, but he wins tactically.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think I would say, you mean in terms of Blitz or in terms of general playing style? In
Standard, I suppose.
Standard, it's generally considered that Magnus is more of a positional, he's more of a classical player than Nakamura. But they're both razor sharp tactically. But Magnus has I think he has more of a classical, deeper understanding of the game than Nakamura. I think Nakamura is a little faster at tactics, but they're both insanely good. They just have different styles. Okay,
so here's a sack right here. Boom. Is that mate?
Boom. No, bishop h3 takes, then rook. Yeah, winning the rook.
Oh, again.
Knight c4.
Oh, takes the whole rook. Yeah.
It's not over yet either. It's still going on.
He's just playing with him.
He's playing. Nah, it's over. It's over now. Now he's winning the knight on d4 after rook e4 check.
Right.
I don't know why this guy's still playing. Show some respect.
He gets mated by a pawn.
Mated by a pawn. That's what you get. I am June.
Oh, he's going to show us some variation.
Show you all the ways I can mate you. But yeah, Nakamura is absolutely insane at Blitz.
All right, and we're on the next game. So this is Nakamura as black against Jacquince 1, who's a big underdog.
Big underdog. That's a big understatement. 1969 against Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura. Let's see. He probably has a 1 in 100 chance of winning this. So, I don't know what that even means. But yeah, so, he's just playing this random stuff that, makes his opponent think on his own feet.
So yeah, so that's what he does. He plays random stuff to make his opponent. But how does he, when I play random stuff, my opponent finds some flaw with my random stuff and, takes the whole center and, gets the initiative. I don't understand how Nakamura, always has the initiative, even though he always plays random stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when he plays against Grandmaster. That's the real test, because Grandmasters, in Blitz can take advantage of the random stuff. But these people, Nakamura doesn't play completely random. He still follows some opening principles. He still has a basic hold of the center. He still has it's more of a general sense to know how much you can get away with in the opening and how much you can't. That comes with experience. And his experience is obviously very vast. So
Like, why is his knight on h6?
h6, sorry, that's very common because now it goes f5, and after if you go h5, knight h6 is a very common idea. It also keeps the h8, a1 diagonal open for the bishop. But yeah, now black is just like completely owning here. Amazingly,
already
better. Yeah, like
because
white can't even go knight to h2. That's like he's probably looking at that knight h2, like attacking the queen. But knight takes h4 is then the idea there. Right? Otherwise, knight h2 would trap the queen, kind of.
Oh wow, God. Queen takes. Oh my God. Well, that's devastating. So the white king. So what happened there is queen takes g3, won a pawn, and then the knight was able to take on e3, take a bishop on e3, right? And fork the queen and king.
Yep. So he comes out of that a pawn and a piece ahead. And yeah, poor Joe Quinzel. Days are numbered now. There's so many mates here for black. Now the idea is rook takes h4 and then g4 mate. That's a pretty mate. Rook takes h4 followed by g4 checkmate. I don't know if Nakamura does that or not. No, rook takes g4 is mate. Yep. Now g4 will be mate.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yep.
So we see the knight on b5 that took the pawn on a7 is just completely useless.
Yep.
And Nakamura used, two pawns, the knight and the bishop in the attack. Didn't even need to use the rook. Never moved his king.
Not.
All right, here we go. We got another game.
Deadly moves. Okay.
All right, b3.
Yep. It's just like, oh, you see, like now he's doing some weird stuff.
So I know Nakamura is going to win, but I want to concentrate on like how he transitions from this opening into, crushing his opponent. H3. I mean, you have to explain this to me. His opponent's a FIDE master.
Yeah.
And Nakamura is going to have a huge advantage by move 15 after having played, 5H3.
I mean, these moves aren't the most aggressive, but they're solid. Like an end valuation of the position would probably be about equal, maybe still plus equal, right? Maybe like a little small advantage for white, if anything. It's not. The moves aren't like poor moves. They're just solid. They're not like they don't give an advantage, but they don't take away from his position either. Notice how like even though white has not played most aggressive moves, he has like a pretty solid hold in the position. And now he's giving black hanging pawns on c5 and d5. So and now he's isolated pawn on d5. Bishop takes c5 might be a mistake. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like that.
I'm worried about
pawn is weak.
Bishop takes f6, queen takes d5 maybe. But let's see here. Yeah, so Nakamura, like even though he's played some kind of weird opening, he's already gotten a sizable positional, play against that weak d5 pawn.
Right. And, yeah, the pawn is now blockaded by the bishop on d3. Pretty active bishop.
And eventually, he's probably going to blockade it with a piece on d4, and that's why I moved his bishop back. The idea against isolated pawns is normally to put a knight in front of it. So somehow he's probably going to get a knight to d4 and then slowly win it.
And that's because the knight can like jump over pieces, so the knight still controls a lot of squares, even though it's in front of the pawn.
Yeah, exactly. So it blockades and it controls everything around it. It's like the perfect thing.
Yeah, because then it's still really active.
Yeah. Yeah. So black doesn't really know what he's doing. He's kind of just shuffling around. What's not gonna do? Maybe like knight b5. I don't know what I would do here as white. A3, knight b5. A lot of things look tempting here. Yeah, A3 first. Kicking knight back. B4
sure.
Or bishop b5. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that looks concrete. It's like pinning a piece.
Concrete. I like it. But now take a minute. Yep. So now that's the idea of, okay, that opens the, yeah, perfect.
Opens the G file. So now black's king is more exposed.
See, that's like we talked about now. Also, white has...
Oh, he hung his queen.
Ouch.
GG.
Nakamura's... I'm sure Nakamura thought about that. He's probably just taunting his opponent or something.
He's like,
It's like, am I missing something? No. He knows his opponent just messed up. I mean, even if he didn't hung his queen, black was in kind of trouble there. Because white has established a knight on d4. Black's pawn structure is absolutely crippled. And, Nakamura just outplay him.